Hello and welcome back to the ministry. I got a little bit of a song review and a word for you. And the word is the road less traveled. I'm kind of going through the song. I believe it's called Well Traveled by Janet Jackson from her last album, Unbreakable. I remember when that album came out. I was in a headspace where I was in the process of starting my journey with the Lord, and I'd probably been walking with God at that time about a year and a half, maybe two. And I remember when this album came out, and it was like the soundtrack. A couple songs on it were like the soundtrack to my journey. And even when I go back even now to listen to these tracks, it takes me back to that place. And it allots me the ability to retrospect what I've been through, the things that I've traveled through, the experiences that I've walked through up until this point. The journey is not over, but I'm well traveled. It's the lessons in which I've learned throughout that experience that has prepared me to be able to walk through this one, into this one, and have the peace within this one as things transitioned and because of this, it gave me an observation. Right now, God has a lot of us in a space of circumspection. We're doing a somewhat of a last overview of where we've been, what we've been going through. I talked a lot about this in the word graduation. I talked about this again in freshman a little bit. And I also spoke about this momentarily in, there's a word I did recently. But he's kind of got us going back over the things from our past that we went through pain. We went through having residue in those spaces because he's trying to make sure that those areas are cleared out fully. Because God's about to send in some new things. And before he can send in the new things, he needs to make sure that the old is completely out of your system. Meaning if you have to cry about it, if you have to grieve about it, if you have to release it, he's allotting you the ability to take that time right now to release it because you're going into the new thing. You're crossing over into that new thing. It could be within the next 29 days. It could be within the new year. But you're crossing over into that new thing. And with that new crossing over, there's going to come transition and change. And I'm seeing a lot of us are all going into this place where we're taking our time to release what we need to release to you in this season because we may not be here next season. Doesn't mean that we're not coming back. It just means that you may not see us to the capacity in which you're used to seeing us, meaning you may not see the visual videos. I'm telling you right now, if I'm not posting video, I'll probably be making community posts because I'm a typer. If I got a thought, something comes over me, I'm going to write it. And if I write it, pay attention to the community in the YouTube and pay attention to the LFPB ministry community that is in the About section. That's where you're going to find that content. So be aware of it. Keep your eyes open. because that's where you're going to find that content, because there's a community, there's the LFPB community, and then there's the blog. All of these different places have different things in them. So if I can't get a chance to visually video record, it'll be in one of these three areas. But we're coming to a catharsis, a culmination place where we're meeting the end of a season and walking into the gloriousness of a new thing. And how do I know this? All the words, all the people, everybody's coming to this conclusion all at the same time. Everybody I listen to, they all saying the same thing. Everybody's bringing about the confirmations to the things that I've been saying and praying about. We're all in that same vein. We're right here. We're ready. We're waiting. It's about to go down. There's some things that are about to take place in these last few days of this year that right now it don't look like nothing happening. But when it happened, that's what's going to make it so amazing. Because it's going to be so sudden, even though you know you don't know. I heard Elisa Marie say 6 months ago, she did a video. She said, y'all are preparing and we're all preparing. But even when we are prepared, we still ain't going to be ready. It's another woman, servant of God. She just did a video. She posted today. And she literally was talking about how she didn't feel like she was ready. But God's saying, we're ready. A lot of us, we done did everything we can do. We ready. We just waiting for it to manifest. And that's when the chips are going to come down to it. And we going to see what we really got. Because we about to walk in this thing. But God already done built us up to be able to walk in this thing. And we're not doing it by ourselves. We're doing it with God. And for a lot of us, we're doing it with our spouses. So the road that we're coming out of, it was well traveled. We've busted our knees. We had to reset. We done fell. We done picked up. We done did it all. We walked through the rainstorms. We had to sit on the side of the road in the dark, crying out to God. I'm talking about spiritually, not physically. Because that's what it felt like in the spirit. That we were sitting on the side of the road, crying out to God, saying, why am I still here? Why am I in this dark place? We done seen ghosts. We done seen everything in this spiritual place. And we done like, Jesus, this is time. When can we go? We started to see light at the end of the tunnel. We started to climb the mountain. We're up here. We're up here. We only got a little bit more to go. And for some of us, we're at that plateau with God saying, you ain't even got to go this much farther. I got you. There's a scripture in the word that says, I have seen all that you have done. Now watch what I will do. You have done it all. You've passed your tests. A young woman released a video, I think it was Queen Alita, about a year or so ago. It talked about we have filled ourselves. And some of us have overfilled ourselves. We've done everything that we can do. We are at our capacity for all the things that we can do at this point for this season. We're done with this season. We are actually at a point where we are filling up for next season. We got overflow for our coming season because we about to run this. And we about to run into this. And yeah, it's a new territory. It's a new space. We're going to have to learn how that operates. But we're not doing it alone. God's with us, and God has our spouses mentally ready to guide us through what we're going to need to walk into. It's going to be an adjustment period. And I already know. I literally heard a couple of days ago to put my phone down, which means he's going to pull me out of being like this. I'm going to be off social media. But I've known I was going to be off social media. But he's told me, oh, no, you're going to be off social media. And I know why. So the road